Hello and welcome to another edition of Stockwatch. So as we get into the trading week, we hear that Boeing are under scrutiny once more after trying to resurrect their 737 grounded MAX airline, which was cleared to fly by US regulators once more. But the discovery of potential electric problems has seen the grounding of over 100 fleets. And obviously, this does not only affect Boeing itself, it affects the airline companies that hire out the Boeing aircraft, and 24 of them have been affected around the world. But according to Boeing and the FAA, the problem first became apparent during testing of the newly manufactured 737 MAX 8. Which has been yet to be delivered to companies around the world. So electrical faults and electrical power outages seem to be under the spotlight after the two fatal crashes that happened a few years ago. But the situation has been given new revitalization, let's say, to critics that say that the grounded 737 MAX should not actually be allowed back in the air, and it is way too soon for them to be, taking passengers to and from countries. And they have also obviously linked it with the issues about the two fatal crashes as well. So it's not clear how long the airline will be grounded for this time, but the actual modifications are really not that expensive. If in the cold hard light of day, it's only a couple of $1,000s per aircraft, so this is not really a big drop in the ocean for Boeing. But the FAA is understood to be asking for detailed analysis to be sure all potential concerns have been dealt with. So with the scrutiny that the 73 MAX is under, neither Boeing can make a mistake or the FAA can make a mistake with this. And also sticking with the aerospace industry, I'm just looking at Air France as well, as sales are not really showing to be revitalizing, with the hopes that the world is going to be back to normal by the summer or the end of the summer at least. It expects to operate 50% of its pre-pandemic flight capacity as we get the second quarter underway. You've got Lufthansa as well. They cut its 2021 capacity forecast last week, while now in its first quarter loss with a 90% workforce reduction. So a lot of airlines around the world really feeling the strain now. Obviously, we are hoping to get back to normal by the middle of the summer, but obviously the summer season is actually underway now normally. So we'll see if that has a really bad knock-on effect for a lot of these companies. So just looking at Boeing first of all today, the last time I looked at it, we were looking at the decline and the potential trend momentum to the downside. Now what I'm looking at most importantly is we are still hovering at the lower end of the Ichimoku cloud. This is on a daily chart. I'll just zoom in for a better clarification. And if we do not get a decent engulfment to the upside, then there's always going to be room to start moving lower. And if we do start, then I'll be looking at the $200 psychological area for that to happen. And then we'll be looking at these recent lows that we saw roughly at the turn of the year, at the end of January. So very, very worrying for Boeing. The headlines are not making it any easier for the company, even if the world economy gets back on track. What does it mean for a company that's been scrutinized so much over the last 3 or 4 years? So even before the pandemic, Boeing was in the headlines for the wrong reasons. Not too much in the way on the RSI for me to give a better outlook on the daily, but let's just look on intraday chart. As you can see here, we are trading well under the Ichimoku cloud. Very, very strong selling pressure on the stock, and as I said, I'll be just looking to see how far it's going to start plummeting if these negative news headlines really start taking off as well. And we'll just see if there's any further clues on the RSI as we go into the trading week as well. So just a quick look on Air France as well. I'm just going to take it on intraday at the moment because I want to just highlight this vast decline that we've seen. It had a slight pickup at the beginning of April, but since then we're in a downward trajectory, and also we have had a little bit of a divergence on the RSI. It was on the daily chart, but it was a strong bearish divergence that started bringing prices lower as well. So again, we'll just wait and see how that's going to fare in the next few trading sessions, because Air France are really starting to feel the burn and the heat, and we're just waiting to see if there's going to be any further upside. If we can get a little bit more cloud engulfment here, then we can try and get to these certain peaks that we've had recently, but in the middle of the €5 range. But in all likelihood, it's looking the bias is looking very much on the downside, and we'll just see if that's going to pick up in the next few trading sessions. I'll just bring it out to the daily chart, just to give you a quick overview of that as well. You know, I was looking at the beginning of the year, well, sorry, the back end of last year and the beginning of this year, we moved out of this descending channel to get a bit of revitalization, but now it looks like the bias is firmly on the downside. And as you can see here, this was the bearish divergence that I was speaking about, and this was at the turn of the year. So, you know, it's remains to be seen if the airline industries can really get back on track by the end of Q2. It's not looking too good because, you know, not a lot of countries are getting back to normal within their own economy. But, you know, traveling to and from different countries is going to take a while to get back to normal. So just a few things to look out for in the aerospace industry. And that's all from the Stock Watch today. Thank you very much for joining me. If you have any comments or queries, as usual, please add them to the post and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. Have a great trading day ahead, and bye for now.